In the heart of a secluded farm where golden fields stretched endlessly under the vast sky, lived a young farmer named Lucas. His days were marked by the rhythm of the land, early mornings, long hours of toil, and evenings spent gazing at the horizon. Yet, what made his life more than a routine of labor was the constant presence of his loyal companion, Thor, a golden Labrador with eyes as bright as the morning sun and a spirit brimming with courage. Lucas and Thor had grown up side by side, learning from each other in ways that words could not describe. Thor was not just a farm dog. He was family, confidant, and partner in every challenge, from herding cattle across open pastures to guarding the fields during silent nights. Thor's loyalty never wavered. Together, they shared laughter, struggles, and countless moments of unspoken understanding. The bond between boy and dog was forged not merely by daily tasks, but by the quiet certainty that they could trust one another in any circumstance. On quiet mornings, Lucas would whistle, and Thor would appear at his side, tail wagging in anticipation. At dusk, when the day's work was done, Thor would rest near Lucas's feet, his steady breathing a reminder of companionship that endured beyond words. But life on a farm was not without trials. Nature, with its beauty and unpredictability, often tested those who lived closest to it. For Lucas and Thor, one stormy day would become the greatest test of their courage and their friendship, a day when the strength of their bond would shine brighter than the lightning that split the skies. The morning began like any other, with dew glistening on the grass and birds announcing the day. Lucas walked across the fields with Thor trotting faithfully beside him, their steps in perfect rhythm. The cattle grazed peacefully, and for a moment the world seemed calm and unshaken. Yet far in the distance, dark clouds gathered, rolling across the sky with a silent warning. As the wind began to stir, the animals grew restless. The first growl of thunder echoed through the valley, and the herd scattered, panicked by the approaching storm. Lucas felt his chest tighten. The cattle were his livelihood. Losing them would mean losing everything. He grabbed his hat, tightened the grip on the rope he carried, and glanced at Thor. The Labrador's ears were perked, his body alert, as though he too understood the urgency of the moment. Together, they sprinted into the chaos. The storm advanced quickly, bringing with it sheets of rain and bursts of wind that bent the tall grass. Mud clung to Lucas's boots, slowing him down, but Thor moved with remarkable speed and purpose. He barked sharply, circling the animals, guiding them back toward safety. Where Lucas's strength faltered, Thor's agility filled the gap. In the midst of the storm, Thor spotted a calf separated from the herd. He barked urgently, drawing Lucas's attention. The calf stumbled near a broken fence, dangerously close to being swept away by the rising water in a ditch. Without hesitation, Lucas ran, and Thor charged ahead. The storm was no longer just a test of endurance. It was a fight to save life. The rain poured relentlessly, blurring Lucas's vision and soaking him to the bone. The young farmer pressed forward, guided by the sound of Thor's determined barks. Every step felt heavier in the mud, but he refused to stop. Ahead, the frightened calf bleated, its small legs sinking deeper into the muck. Lucas's heart pounded. Time was slipping away. Thor reached the calf first, his golden coat drenched and glistening in the stormlight. The Labrador circled the animal, nudging it gently with his nose and barking to keep it from collapsing in fear. Lucas rushed in, his hands gripping the calf's fragile body as he heaved with all his strength. The animal resisted, panic overwhelming it, but Lucas whispered softly, his voice steady despite the thunder overhead. With Thor pulling from one side and Lucas lifting from the other, the calf finally gave way to their combined effort. Inch by inch, they dragged it from the treacherous mud, each movement a battle against nature itself. Lucas's muscles burned,
and his breath came in ragged gasps, but he refused to let go. Thor, too, would not quit. His loyalty bound him to the task until the very end. At last, with one final push, the calf stumbled onto firmer ground. Lucas collapsed to his knees, his hands trembling, while Thor stood guard, panting heavily but alert. In that moment, Lucas reached for Thor, pulling him close. "Thank you, friend," he whispered into the storm. The Labrador's eyes gleamed with quiet understanding, as though he had always known what needed to be done. The storm raged for hours before finally retreating, leaving behind a battered yet peaceful silence. The fields, once vibrant, were now scarred with mud and broken fences. Still, the cattle were safe, gathered once more under Lucas's watchful eye. And at the center of it all stood Thor, weary but proud, his tail wagging softly as if to remind Lucas that they had triumphed together. Lucas sat on the damp grass, exhaustion washing over him. Thor lay beside him, pressing his warm body against the farmer's side. The golden Labrador closed his eyes, his breathing slow and steady, his loyalty as steadfast in rest as it had been in action. Lucas stroked his fur, his heart swelling with gratitude. In the silence, he realized that Thor was more than a companion. He was the very heartbeat of the farm. The rescued calf stumbled toward its mother, bleating softly, and Lucas smiled at the sight. What had once seemed like certain loss had turned into a victory, not because of strength alone, but because of trust, teamwork, and an unbreakable bond. The storm had tested them, but in doing so, it had revealed the depth of their friendship. As the sun broke through the clouds, casting golden light across the soaked fields, Lucas looked at Thor and whispered, "With you, I can face anything." The Labrador wagged his tail, his eyes shining with quiet joy. Together, farmer and dog rose to their feet, ready to face not only the work ahead, but the challenges of life itself. For in the heart of the farm, their story had become a living testament. Courage, loyalty, and love can weather any storm. Welcome to Patas da Historia, the place where we uncover the secrets behind our best four-legged friends. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like. We'll wait for you in the next story. Bye!